Yo, what's up everybody? Welcome back to another manga review. We're looking at Watanagashi today, and this was a really fun reread, to be honest, because a lot of this story I haven't really remembered that much, and I don't know, whenever I think of Watanagashi and Meakashi, I kind of remember Meakashi a lot more than Watanagashi. By the way, keep in mind, I've read all the visual novels for Higurashi, so obviously spoilers for everything are included in this video. But yeah, it was nice to re-experience the mystery after having seen Meakashi, especially because we see everything that Shion is doing from a perspective that is completely unknown. I mean, I just think it's so funny that Keiichi is he loses all of his, nearly all of his friends to these crimes. He doesn't lose Hidena, ironically, but yeah, so much happens, and if anything, at the end, he literally dies of a heart attack. Yet at the same time, he is so clueless. I mean, I just think it's so funny. He sees the person at the end of the chapter who he gets killed by, and yet at the same time, he doesn't even know who he's been killed by. I mean, I just love the ending of this chapter so much for the reason that Yukishi just gets everything about this chapter's mystery that confuses you, and then he just throws it all into one in that conversation with Oishi, especially, like, not only with the whole Shion and Mion thing, but also with Takano as well, and just how the hell she died, and also why the fuck would Rika have a syringe? I mean, it's just so funny to think about the fact that what this story really does, it creates another danger, so that the true danger of the series is kind of something that you really bat an eyelid to, and something that it's just, like, for example, Takano and Tomitake's deaths. I mean, they are the true danger of the series, but at the same time, because of the fact that some other danger has happened that is way more significant, that's kind of the thing that is kind of cast aside. I love the mystery of this chapter, if I'm going to be honest, and this chapter and Tatari Goroshi, just for the sake of the second half and how fucking good that is, like, easily my favourite mysteries maybe in the entire... Actually, no, I think that might be a stretch, but they're probably not my favourite mysteries in the entire series. I think that I'd probably have to go to, like, chapter 5 and 6, all of the mystery elements in there. Maybe chapter 6. But anyway, some of my favourite mysteries in the stories, and I really liked just being able to re-experience everything in the beginning with Mion's feelings as well, and it was really quite unusual. It really feels like a theme of this chapter, just not being able to tell, well, I can tell now, I think, but just finding it hard and really having to think about when Mion is Mion and when Shion is Shion. I mean, from a rereading perspective, I think it's obvious when, obviously, Mion has been imprisoned in the Sonozaki torture dungeon, and Shion is the one who is kind of overtaking her. Especially in the second chapter. I mean, I think when it started to become obvious was the time where, Katie is asked again if he's gone into the Saiguden. Yeah, that's when it started to happen, if you ask me. But it was so interesting just to see Mion's insecurities, if anything, and to kind of compare them to Shion's insecurities, and just to think that such a ridiculous cause, i.e. the doll incident, was what caused this entire story to happen. I mean, my god, it's just... I'm sorry, but these chapters here, they are the definition of butterfly effects. Seriously. I mean, yeah. I mean, there were so many times in this story where I just kind of really loved the confusion about religious traditions compared to what the actual danger is as well. Because obviously they've snuck into the Saiguden, they've done something bad, and there's just Shion trying to totally increase the amount of fear that Keiichi has and the fear of being demoned away. And I think that's just so that he has less power to notice things. If anything, ironically, Rena is the one who totally catches Shion out. And I always do wonder what would have happened if Rena wasn't in the story. Imagine if Rena had been killed by Shion. Obviously, she doesn't really have a reason to, but that's the other thing I love about this mystery. One of my favourite things about Higurashi's mystery is just the amount of coincidence that is involved in creating all of the events that has happened. And a good example of this is why, Satoko killing her parents literally the year after all of the sick incidents at the EDA Institute and the labourer getting killed. But why did Rika and Kimiyoshi die? Because of the lock. And I suppose Satoko dying because of... doesn't even have to be a reason. She's a Hojo. Just say that. And yeah, I love just how many alternative explanations you can find. And oh my god, the thing that I really loved about reading the VN and the thing that I really enjoyed about re-experiencing the manga is just that fucking time where Keiichi's on the phone to Oishi and then he realizes that everything that he has been thinking, the person that he has been speaking to, is just, it's just totally false. All of it. He has been speaking to somebody who should have disappeared. And that's the coolest thing about all of this, and just the amount of deception and confusion. And oh my god, it was so painful seeing when Shion was just totally traumatizing Mion when she was in the dungeon and Keiichi was there, and just, even though she was so provoked, her just saying that she is Shion. She technically is Shion, but at the same time, I mean, just seeing that lack of identity. That's kind of the thing I like about this, just how the concept of identity between these two sisters is so vague that things like these can actually happen. I think if you can tell already, I fucking love the mystery of this story, and I think it was done so well. And I think this is just really, really where the mystery is at its best sometimes. And it was actually quite interesting to see all of Mion's feelings, if anything. It was just something so childish and immature, and obviously she wasn't able to... Keiichi wasn't able to recognise kind of the true side of her, and I love that part where Eno was just saying, oh, they're not different people inside, they are exactly the same. Yeah, but something so childish and something that could have been fixed so easily led to, what was it, like 6 deaths. And not just deaths, some of the most cruel deaths you could imagine. I mean, let's just say Satoko's death in Meyakashi. That's all I need to say to prove my point. Speaking of cruelty, wait, actually, okay, let's just say what I was going to say now. Speaking of cruelty, look at what we're reading next. Anyway, something I want to say before we go on to talking about Tatari Goroshi is, it's firstly really quite fun to listen to the visual novel music while reading the manga again. Thought I might as well mention that. But the art style as well, it's a little bit different, and sometimes I feel like some of the scary expressions and some of the shocked expressions, they're a little bit, I like them a little bit less than the art style before. Of the different artists, because there is actually a different artist who does this one, and that same artist then does Meyakashi as well. And I think, let me just check. Yeah, it's kind of like Zumi Horoboshi and Onikakushi, where the same artist draws them. So we're going to see this person again in Meyakashi, which is going to be quite nice, and yeah, I am very excited. I do find it really interesting, when I was saying about all of the diverting the true attention from the villain, I think that is a really good reason as to why Takano does everything that she wants to do with Shion. And if anything, ironically, that what Takano does there, it leads to her total... Well, no, it doesn't lead to her total demise. She's dead by the time Rika dies, I think. Actually, no, I don't know. I completely forgot about that, but... Yeah, if anything, what I'm trying to say, my point was that if Takano hadn't have installed paranoia in Shion by giving her the scrapbooks, then there would have been no killing of Rika, so as a result, the disaster might not have happened. That's what I'm just trying to... Sorry, the disaster would have happened if it wasn't for Rika dying because of Shion. And oh my god, I just think this is the first time where you realise that Rika is really, really not the person who you think she is. Yeah, why did she have a syringe? Was she a drug addict or something? Or did she have some medication? Did she have some insulin shots like Oishi suggested? Or is there something more? Well, I mean, to be fair, obviously from a rereading perspective, there is a lot more to that syringe than might be significant, but obviously if you were reading this for the first time, you might think that it could just be some sort of medication that's personal to her and she tells nobody about or something. but yeah, maybe she forgot to put it out of her pocket or something. Anyway, yeah, I really enjoyed this manga, and I think the next manga, Tatari Goroshi, I mean, this is literally my favourite question arc, and yeah, it's going to be a rough read. I mean, let's be honest, this is the most rough read in the entirety of the question arcs, if you ask me. If you ask me, this has the best ending out of any chapter in the series, so I'm very, very excited to see it. And I just think everything after Keiichi gets the will to kill Teppei, oh my god, that is just... That's where the story really, really accelerates more and more, and it just gets better and better, and then he just finds it so fucking hard to tell what the hell has gone on. And then, obviously, everything feels so weird, and it utilises coincidence in the feeling that Keiichi is just... When he feels as if he is God, i.e., with the whole curses and him just wishing for people to die and them just casually dying. Yeah, and then the shock of the gas disaster. There is a lot to look forward to in Tatari Goroshi. And what I'm quite surprised about, ironically, is this manga here is the longest manga in the entirety of the question arcs. And I think this manga here, just based on the width of the spine of the book, it might actually be the shortest. I don't know, it feels the shortest. It definitely weighs not that much at all. But I do wonder what's going to happen at the end. I'm assuming Satoko's going to be taken in by Teppei, and then that's going to be the end of the chapter. But I don't know. That's just a guess, to be honest. No, actually, I don't know what would happen. Either it's that, or maybe Keiichi's going to gain the will to kill Teppei by the end of the chapter. I think that would make sense more. I don't know, though. We'll see what happens. I'm really excited to read it anyway. I think Higurashi is actually my favourite visual novel, so it's so nice to re-experience the story, because it's just a fucking good story. I'm really excited to read this next chapter, and yeah, I'm sure I will be having a lot to say. Especially, I've kind of figured out the mystery of Tatari Goroshi, and I've confirmed my answer with what people online say, and it's kind of the same. So I'm really excited to reread it, and just to see just with knowing the answer in mind. Anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed, and see you next time.